Hello my study buddies, painting buddies, workmates and procrastinators. Welcome back to the studio. Whatever it is that you're up to today, let's do it together. Let's spend the next hour just keeping each other focused, keeping each other accountable and keeping each other company. And let us know, as always, what you're doing in the comments below. But yeah, I'm just going to dive right into this painting. I am going to be working on, I don't even know where to start. It's a gift for my auntie. She's been asking for this for a long time. She's got a big birthday coming up and she wanted me to do a painting for her, and she sent me a picture of a wave that she liked, and I'm using a different reference today, but this is just a practice. She wants a much larger painting, but I thought, you know, her birthday's in March, I've got some time and it would be good to get some practice in, see how I'm going to approach it, because it'll be the first time in a while that I'll have done something on that scale. It is going to be much larger, and yeah, I'm not really sure how to approach it. I'm not sure if I want to really stylize it too much. It's a lot of pressure because it's something that she's been really excited for, and it's going to be, I think, in her living room, like pride of place in there. So I do want it to be really special. I really want to put the time into figuring it out. So for the time being, I'm just going to try and block in some of the main shapes, just give myself a base. I'm working in acrylic paint, just De La Rowney Studio System 3, I think it's called. And this is just an old canvas that's actually broken, so I wasn't going to use it for anything special anyway. So I thought it would be perfect for just a practice round. Last night I did a wash of acrylic in like a pinky colour just to kind of set the base. I've got my reference in front of me just there. And yeah, I am just gonna kind of wing it. I do like using these real-time videos as a way to practice things and be more loose, just because while I'm talking and painting, I'm a lot less controlling with what I do and like the choices I make. I'm more likely to just try something and go for it because my brain can't process things quickly enough to talk me out of it. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to do that. I apologise if the lighting's in and out throughout this video as well. I've tried to set my camera to the best settings that I can, just to kind of keep things at a moderate level of lighting, but having it on like the automatic settings just always ends up going wrong. So I thought I'd kind of keep it in the middle, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing throughout the video. But how are you guys? It's been a while since we've done a real-time thing. I think the last one was probably in November of last year. Since then, I don't know, my video schedule has been a little bit off, but I'm looking forward to getting back into it. It's always at the start of the year that I have loads of hopes and expectations for what I'm going to be doing on my channel, and throughout the year that kind of falls to the wayside. But I do have a lot of ambition this year for YouTube and just for my art in general. I'm doing what I always do and getting like focused in on one point really early on when I was supposed to be like just getting really broad shapes in, but I think this is going to make a good base for when I start layering on detail, and it's already going kind of better than I expected it to be honest. I hope also that you can hear me properly. I've got two different mics set up because the amount of times I've filmed a video and found that the audio just isn't workable. I'm just so over that, so I'm gonna see if I can make the best out of what I've got. And yeah, hopefully like the brush strokes aren't really overpowering. I know some people like the ASMR effect of it, but I'd also like you to be able to hear what I'm saying. Okay, I think that makes a good base for the wave. I love having a camera like behind me or over my work, just because it makes a really good reference. Like, it allows me to step back without actually stepping back. I can see the painting as a whole and kind of see how it works / doesn't work. But obviously if you're not filming, I would definitely recommend actually getting up and having a look at what you're doing as often as possible, because it really gives you a good perspective. Okay, I'll leave that and we will start on the sky. In this reference, there's like a nice pinkish hue to the sky over here, which is why I did a pink base. I thought that could kind of shine through a little bit, but we'll see. So I suppose we will kind of recap what we were talking about last time. I think the main thing I talked about was like finding balance in my workday and trying to be more active physically throughout the day, trying to get up more from my desk. And I talked about how much I hate exercise, and it was really relieving to get so many comments of people saying the exact same thing, just how frustrating they find it or how boring they find it. It was nice to know that I wasn't alone in that, and through that I also got a lot of great tips from people, a lot of good references to videos and channels. So if you're in that boat as well, I would recommend checking out that last video in this like real-time series, because if you just go down into the comments, there's just so much good stuff there, good advice for all different people. Like there was some stuff there that wasn't really for me. Like some people love climbing or bouldering. Is that the same thing? I hate climbing. I've always hated climbing. I didn't like it at school when we had a climbing wall. Like it's not for me, and like not with these nails. So, but I know a group of my friends have started climbing recently and they love it, and it's such a great way to build strength, and it can be really just like empowering. So yeah, there's loads of great suggestions in the comments of that video. I would really recommend checking it out if you haven't, and if you're in the same boat of wanting to be more active but not really knowing what to do or what kind of exercise is going to work for you. One comment that really stood out to me, I have notes up here, was from Catherine Zimlich, who said, "I think it's important not to dial in on the idea of adding in a bunch of exercise, but rather on restoring mobility by taking away what limits motion day to day. For example, engineering your environment so it's impossible to sit in a chair all day. There's so much more to how humans can move and play than what standard exercise encompasses." And she shared this. And she was talking about her journey to recovery after injury and kind of rehabilitation there. So it was really helpful and almost inspiring comment just to get her perspective on it. And it's really made me think about how I can limit those moments throughout the day where I'm completely immobile. So I've actually got yesterday a standing desk converter type thing. I didn't want to get a whole new desk because I really like my desk setup, and also those things are really expensive. So it's just like a small desktop that I can lift up and down with my computer on it. And I plan on just every half hour or so getting up and doing some work standing up and then sitting down. I think the key is movement, so I don't want to be standing up for too long as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to implementing that into my day and seeing what a difference that makes. I'm also changing up my routine a bit. I think I talked about it in my last-ish video where I was attempting my ideal work day, and that just didn't really work out. I think having regular breaks, the way I was doing it, just doesn't work. It really breaks up the day too much. I'm reading a book at the moment where he talks about studies that show that it takes about 23 minutes to get deep into whatever work you're doing. And with me taking breaks every 45 minutes, I would only really be deep into my work for a little while and then I'd instantly be interrupting that. So I'm looking differently at my routine, trying different things. I'm going to try shorter, not so much breaks, but as I said, just standing up, like maybe having an alarm set on my phone to remind me just to stand up every half hour or so, stretch my legs, have a little move around, but not switch onto something else. I really think I need to get into some deep focus times. So I'm looking forward to that, really. It's Friday today, and this painting is all I really plan on doing work-wise. I have some stuff around the house that I need to sort out, and then I have some friends coming around later. So I'm probably going to be back on my usual work schedule tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing for the first time how having that standing desk and those shorter, less kind of breaks, how that will work for me. Also on the topic of being active, I also mentioned, I think in one of my journaling videos, that I want to get out more this year. So I am planning on going to the library at least once a week. I'm on a strict budget this year, and I won't go too deep into it, but I have mentioned I'm trying to save up for a deposit on a house, but we need like tens of thousands of pounds for that, and it's really difficult. So I'm on a really strict budget this year, and it's going to be good. I think I needed some kind of guidelines on myself to stop spending, and I had budgeted in £5 a month for books, but as I said, every little helps, and I've actually decided to scrap that completely. I spend £8 a month on Audible, so I get one audiobook a month, but I don't think I need my book budget when I could get books for free from the library. So that's what I plan on doing. I've talked about it before, but I do get anxious about going outside, and I think it will really help me to have that place to go to that is like safe. I know it sounds so silly, but in my head, a library is a good, calm, quiet space. No one's going to talk to me there, and the journey there for me is a nice one. It's all kind of back streets. Like I don't really want to be walking. I don't know. I don't want to see people. So I think it'll be a good little thing to get me out of the house. But also, it's a good 20-30 minute walk there, and then the same back. So I think it'll be good for me. I'm really looking forward to it. I need to finish the books I'm reading now. I also need to go there like for the first time to get my library card, but I plan on going with my mum because I'm that lame. But yeah, she'll probably come with me just because she goes there regularly as well. And normally I just borrow her library books once she's done with them, but I think it would be good to take control myself and get out and about. It's looking quite nice, quite stormy. These are like the best clouds I've ever painted by accident before. Is that even in focus? I don't know if that's my eyes, but it really doesn't look like it's in focus. I need to figure out what I'm doing in this section. But yeah, other than that, as I said, that's probably going to be once a week, which is also going to push me to read quicker and read more instead of watching YouTube videos all the time. But yeah, if I'm not doing that to be active, I do have my stationary bike, which I used to use all the time, but since moving I haven't really had a good space for it in the flat. But I don't know, I can't really use that as an excuse. So right now it's out on the landing, and I can spend an easy half hour on that a day, and I do that at the end of my work day. It's almost like cycling home from work. Like it's just a good full stop on the end of my day, and then I can have a shower and feel like that's it and I'm done. And it's like I can do it in a leisurely way. I can push myself, I can really break a sweat, or I can just be moving. So I think I've kind of figured it out a little bit, my lack of activity. One thing that I'm kind of missing is I would love to build some strength this year. I would really love to, I don't know, like I said, just build some strength. I've talked about how little muscle I have, and I'm not trying to get wham, but it would be nice to be able to carry my own weight a bit better, and just, I don't know, I am the weakest I've ever been in my life, and it's getting to a point where I don't like this feeling anymore. So I would like to find something to build strength, and that's where I'm slightly struggling, because like the traditional exercise stuff just does not do it for me. Crunches and squats and and some YouTube channels are cool, but I need to start really, really small, because struggling just puts me off, which I know you have to struggle to make progress, but I just get so exasperated and frustrated with my lack of ability physically, and it kind of stops me from trying again. Could do yoga. I'm not that keen on yoga. It's just, it's never really, it doesn't relax me because, again, I'm always so stressed about not really being able to hold the poses or whatever else. I love yoga with Adrienne. I love her, just, I don't know, the way she approaches things and how nice she is. But I think maybe I just need to pull my finger out and stop making excuses on that one. Maybe just try like 1 or 2 days a week where I focus on a little thing, or even just like, yesterday I not Googled, but searched on YouTube for like ab workouts that you can do on the sofa, and there were actually results for that. It's like, if I can just do that while I'm watching telly in the evening, while the adverts are on, that is somewhere to start. So that's the plan. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit at a time. I'm going to get my heart beating again with the walks and with my exercise bike, and yeah, just try to build a bit of muscle, a tiny, tiny bit at a time. So thank you all for your tips and your advice, and thank you for being so honest about your own experiences and how you feel about it all. It was so comforting, because I know that there are so many people out there that just love exercise or have found their thing. So it's nice to know that it's not just me being lazy. And I don't know, there are a lot of us out here that haven't found our thing yet, but know the importance of it. We also talked a little bit last time about Christmas and New Year's. I think I was talking about when is too soon to set up your decorations. So that was quite a while ago. We actually took down our decorations 2 days after Christmas. I love having it all up, but I was over it at that point, to be honest. So yeah, a lot of our friends are like, "What are you doing? How can you do that?" But it was nice actually to get the house back, give it a good tidy, get the glitter off everything. Also, Thierry was having way too much fun chewing on all our plastic decorations, so I just thought, let's get rid of it. Let's stop him tearing things down every night. But it was a good Christmas. It was really nice. We went to my mum's for our Christmas dinner, just me and my mum and dad and sister and Ozzy. So that was really nice, and my uncle popped in as well. I love a casual, like calm, no pressure Christmas. Ozzy and I also did our own Christmas at home and on the night before, on Christmas Eve. I don't really know why, because we knew we were going to dinner at my mum's the next day, but I think Ozzy's always wanted to make his own like Christmas meal. And now that we're in our own place, I mean, we were here last Christmas, but we didn't really do anything then. So yeah, it was a nice little opportunity to cook together. It was like, I mean, he got home from work on Christmas Eve at about 12. And we're just there in the kitchen, music on. It was really fun. It was like maybe the start of our own Christmas tradition to make our own Christmas dinner the night before. So we had that on Christmas morning, a big roast, and then we were stuffed. And then we went to my mum's to have another one. And that was very indicative of our whole Christmas season, really. I don't normally overindulge because I don't really see the point in it, to be honest. But this year, I really, really did. We went out for dinner so many times last month. Just different Christmas meals or family things, or like we went to the Ivy right at the beginning of the month, the Ivy in Victoria, which was so nice. I think that's the nicest restaurant I've ever been to. Because Ozzy works at the Ivy, we get a discount, so very, like, I don't know, it was nice to pretend that we could afford that kind of thing. But that was really nice. That was the start of the month. And then we went out for dinner, like a Christmas dinner with Ozzy's family, because we weren't spending Christmas Day with them. And then we went out for a Christmas dinner with our friends, just, I don't know, because we thought it'd be nice. And then we also went out for dinner on New Year's Eve. Another thing I've never done before. But yeah, there was just loads of drinking and eating and spending money, and by the end of it all, I was so ready. I was so ready for the new year to just get back into a normal way of living. No more spending money, and no more going out and eating so much like meat. And yeah, it's nice to be back to normal. But I did have fun, did really enjoy it. And New Year's Eve was fun. We went out locally, stayed out way too late. And it was another thing where I was just glad. I was glad in the moment. It was really nice to be with friends and stuff. But on New Year's Day, oh, what a relief it was to know that we could all just get back to, I don't know, day-to-day life. I'd already kind of planned my return to work. I've never been so eager to get back to work, but I've just got really big plans this year. I feel really excited. I feel really motivated. I just almost feel like enough's enough with like wasting time and not doing my best and being lazy and letting procrastination be the main thing. Yeah, I'm gonna try this year. I'm gonna try my best to do all the things that I want to do. That looks pretty cool. That looks quite cool. For a base, I think once I start adding details and things, it's coming along. I don't really know if this is the style I want to do for the actual painting, like when I do it for my auntie, but I like it. I like the colours. I might actually use this as the reference, but I don't know if I should send her a picture of this or if I should keep the whole thing as a surprise, but yeah, I'm also just stalling now because I don't really know what to do next. It might be time to get out a smaller brush and start working on details. All right, I'll tell you what, normally we wait till the half-hour mark to have our break, but I need to have a think. I need to process what I've done so far and what I'm going to move on to. So grab a snack, grab a drink, whatever you do, make sure you get up or move around somehow, and I will see you back here in a second. Okay, welcome back. Let's get back to it. Still don't really know what I'm going to do, but I guess we'll wing it. So I thought I would answer a question. Kind of running out of questions from you guys, so if you have anything that you want me to talk about in future videos, just leave it in a comment down below. I think I lost some of the ones that I'd saved, so it'd be good to get some new talking topics from you guys. But this question is from Taylor, who said, "It's so hard for me to get motivated to paint with the general stress of life. I really struggle with even keeping up practice on all my skills, like sketching, painting, other crafts, and I'm sad about it, honestly. Any thoughts on making art a bigger priority and enjoying it and not just seeing it as work?" And yeah, I really relate to this. Sometimes it really does feel like work. Sometimes it feels so wrong to find it so taxing and so boring sometimes, and just like knowing that it's a thing that you used to love or you should love and should enjoy, but sometimes it feels more like a chore. It's really relatable, and I just think it's a really good question. So I honestly would take a break. I don't know what situation you're in if you do need to do it for work, but even if it's just a day or so, just put down the paintbrush, just don't even think about it, don't go anywhere near it, and then look at what interests you, like what videos do you see on YouTube that really light you up, or what stuff do you see on Instagram that you think is really cool. And it doesn't have to be anything to do with the art that you make now. It doesn't have to fit into the box of who you are or who you think you are as an artist. It can just be something that you think looks cool, and I would recommend just like trying it just for fun. Like, it doesn't have to be part of something, it doesn't have to be good. I did this with acrylic paint pouring, you might remember, and you might remember that you haven't seen that since on my channel, but I spent ages watching these videos of people doing it, thinking it's so fascinating, thinking it looks so cool, and I talked myself out of trying it for so long because it's like, well, where does this fit into my art, and what am I going to do with this in the future, and I don't know, all those silly questions. And eventually I just tried it because I wanted to try it, and I thought it looked fun, and it was fun, and I really liked it. I liked just having some music playing and, I don't know, just enjoying it in that moment. And like I said, I never really picked that back up, but it helped me feel creative again. It helped me feel like an artist again, and just kind of reignite a spark there to do something. and to make it fun again, just to make it light and enjoyable. So yeah, I would recommend just trying something for the sake of trying it, getting inspired, like watching stuff on YouTube, and just letting yourself go down a rabbit hole. I've watched a lot of like polymer clay stuff before, loads of videos of people sculpting and building things, and just being inspired by other people, even if you don't try the thing that they're doing, seeing how different things can be done, and just reminding yourself that you do have a passion there for art and creativity, and it doesn't always have to be right there in your face. It doesn't always have to be fun and like throwing paint at canvas. There are times where it is going to be difficult, but you can still reignite that love. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would take a break. I would take a step away, and I would come back when it calls me, because it always does, and it will for you as well. Especially if you're actively seeking out like stuff that you find interesting, without a pressure of it meaning something. This is so hard. The first step was really easy, and now it's just like there are so many different facets to water, and just colours and light and refraction and just everything, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but I like this painting. I like the feeling of it. I like just painting on canvas. It feels good. Hoping that I don't like overdo it and ruin it, but that was pretty cool. The camera's going to run out of battery. Okay, let me, it's really annoying because I'm in a zone right now, but I need to make sure I sort out this camera before it dies and I lose all the footage. Okay, my microphone is also running out of battery, so it's definitely very well prepared today. Hopefully we end up with something, but if the video ends suddenly, don't blame me, okay? You know what's going on. So let's talk about my favourite part. Let's talk about things I've been working on, and what I've been reading and what I've been watching. I always get really great recommendations from you guys, so always keep them coming. I have a big list now, a big backlog of things that I should read and watch, and series and things and podcasts and all sorts. So let's begin with what I'm working on currently. I am planning at least 2 books this year, or at least like starting them. One is more illustration based and one has more of a story to it. I'm going to take my time with both of them. I have ideas for both of them and it's really exciting. And I'll share like some of it with you, maybe not like the full story or whatever, but I would love to have you along for the journey, especially the behind the scenes of it. Like right now it's still very much in the planning stages, and I anticipate that being the case for months. So I don't really plan on finishing anything this year, although that would be great. But then there are a couple of like side projects that I'd like to work on as well that I do think I'll finish. So yeah, like I said earlier, I really got a lot going on. Like I just feel really inspired to make things. I have just some cool ideas of things that I want to do. So at the moment, a lot of my time is spent planning and researching, and a little bit of sketching here and there, but mainly just trying to figure out what the direction is. It's just really cool, really exciting. What else am I working on? I have been thinking for a long time about returning to Patreon. I was on Patreon for quite a while, really built up a good little community there, and I really enjoyed it. But over time, I felt myself like really creating a pressure there to like do more and make more, and that was like very self-imposed. Everyone there was so supportive of just everything, but I hated feeling like I was letting people down by not always delivering the best I could. But I do feel more balanced now, and I have more of a plan of what I would like to do and share on there. I love these like reward package type things I've seen people doing, where you get like different prints and stickers and things every month. Like, it's just my favorite thing in the world to make up little I don't know, like goodie bag type things. So I'm really looking forward to having like a print reward tier, which I did actually have last time, but like having things like stickers and just stuff that I wouldn't normally have in my shop. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll be back on there by February, but there's a lot to set up, and I don't want to dive right in and overwhelm myself, so I'm just going to take my time with that. But it'd be lovely to have you guys over there at some point once I've got it all set up, and I'd probably be doing like extra videos and things. I don't know, just like having more time. What I loved about Patreon before was how like personal it felt, just being able to have proper chats and stuff with people and get to know people and be able to be more one-on-one with any questions and stuff that people had. So I'm just looking forward to getting back to that. But I do need to do a lot of work in setting it up first. I want to do like a practice round of making up the reward bundles. That's the word. But a bundle of like, you know, fun things. At least stickers and prints, and I think I would do one where people get like original pieces of work, like actual paintings. I'd probably have to keep that quite limited, just because I don't know, I don't want to stress myself in having to make loads of new original pieces of work. But I think it'll be really good for me to have a reason to make finished pieces. I don't know, I think it'd be really fun. So let me know what you guys think of that, if you're interested, if you have any suggestions of things that you'd like to see on there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back on there. I have missed it. It was this time last year that I gave it a break, and I do feel very ready to get back to it. And in general, at the moment, admin-wise, I'm trying to just kind of refine my online presence. I'd like to give my website a bit of a redesign, get some new artwork on there. I changed my Instagram handle a little while ago to Minnie Small. Very, very excited when that became available. But I kind of want to see if I can do that elsewhere, maybe even change my website URL. It's just that kind of stuff gets really complicated, loads of like redirecting, and I need to have that all figured out. Kind of need to have all my ducks in a row for that one. Just don't want things going wrong. But it's something that I just want to get done as soon as possible, so it's just done. Like, if everything was under Minnie Small, that would really, I don't know, that'd feel good to me, because at the moment, like, I haven't really liked the name Semi-Skimmed Min for a very long time. It was a really random choice, and yeah, it doesn't really feel like me anymore. So especially with like planning a book and stuff, I don't want that to be like, the book is going to be by Minnie Small, and I want all my stuff to kind of link together. Ooh, it's coming together. This is, I'm happy, I'm impressed. I might paint more waves. Do you feel a little bit lost? So the only other thing I'm really working on this month is getting into a good routine, getting on top of things. I'd like to get somewhat ahead of myself with videos, or at least have videos backed up that I can put out on weeks where I'm unable to actually film something. And I just want to be able to kind of batch some tasks together and take some pressure off the day-to-day, so I can really focus on being more creative and things, and get a better balance on things. I'm getting there. I've got a few videos pre-filmed, and they can still be current because I can do the voiceover or whatever it is at the time I'm going to publish it. But I have footage there that I can talk over whenever I need it, which is just a really helpful way to do things. Like, it's nice to know that that's there if I ever need it. And I just want to get into a good routine video-wise, so I'm not having times where I'm MIA for weeks at a time. I would really like to be able to do 2 videos a week. That has always been my goal, but I've never had a good enough routine to kind of stick to that, but I'm hoping that I'm figuring that out bit by bit. This looks really cool. I don't know if it's just like how it looks over there, but I'm really, really liking it. I don't know how I would translate this into the bigger piece, because I would want more detail, and when I start loosely, I don't really know how to refine, but I suppose it'll be fun to keep experimenting with this, since it is, I don't know, since it is so fun and it's going so well. Alright, so let's talk about what I've been reading recently. I think last time I was in the middle-ish of Misery by Stephen King. So I did finish that, and I really, really, really liked it. I thought the end might let me down somehow, or I don't know, because I'd heard that it drags on a bit or something, or like the middle, I don't know, whatever I heard was wrong, because I liked it all the way through. I was completely hooked. I was happy with how it ended. So I really liked it, and I think that's the first Stephen King I've ever read, so looking forward to reading more of his books. I've had some recommendations from you guys, because I know that his work can be a bit hit or miss for people, so I kind of know what direction I'm going in next. So thank you for the tips. And then I also mentioned that I was listening to the audiobook of Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, who I adore. I love her so much. She wrote Big Magic, which is for creative people. It is so eye-opening about the creative process and how we are with ourselves. And as soon as that book ended, that was the first audiobook I've listened to and like not been able to stop listening to it. It's the audiobook that really got me into audiobooks, and as soon as that was finished, I just knew that I'd be listening to that over and over and over again, and I had to listen to something else with Elizabeth Gilbert narrating it, because she's just, I don't know, she's my kind of person. She really got me into it, really got me interested, made me laugh, tugged on my heartstrings, so I really wanted to hear more from her. Unfortunately, this book I don't really think is for me. It's more kind of the story of her almost lowest time, where she was going through a divorce and feeling really lost, and went travelling to Italy and India and somewhere else. I haven't got to that bit yet. But yeah, it's well written, and I love her way with words, and I love how raw she is and how personal she gets, and how honest she is and how funny she is. It's a very well written book, and I think it would be really good for a lot of people to read. It's just taken me really long to get through it. I'm not that interested, and that sounds really mean, but it's not my kind of book. I appreciate that she went on this journey, and it sounds like it was great for her, but I don't, I'm not that interested, unfortunately, but it's always nice to just listen to her voice and her storytelling. It's just taken me a while to get through it, and I've wanted to move on for a bit, so I am now listening to a different audiobook, which is Start Now, Get Perfect Later by Rob Moore. I'm not normally into... I mean, I like a self-help book here and there, I'm not going to lie, but I don't know, like the book, it feels a bit seminar-y, and I don't know if you can kind of get what I mean by that. Like, he's got a lot of one-liners and, like, I don't know. Yeah, I can just imagine him in a big room full of people that are hanging on his every word. But I do actually like the book, and I like a lot of the stuff that he said, and it's the same book that I was saying mentioned the time, like being able to get into a focused state taking 23 minutes. There have been a lot of nuggets there of wisdom that have helped me and helping me reframe how I approach my workday. And I don't mind the guy as well, Rob Moore. He's British, I think he's from Peterborough, or he at least lives in Peterborough. He's quite funny, he swears a bit, he talks about his wife sometimes, and I'm like, oh, don't think she'll like that. But it's all in jest, and I don't know, he just seems like a normal-ish guy, and I've got some good stuff out of that book, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm about halfway through. It's about 6 hours long, and I listen to everything at like 1.75 speed or 2 times speed anyway, so I'll probably finish it in the next couple of days. And I'll let you know once it's done, like what I really think, but so far I am actually really pleased with it, and I don't know, it was a good book to move on to after or during Eat, Pray, Love, just because it's got me back into audiobooks, because I was getting quite bored with Eat, Pray, Love, unfortunately. And yeah, it's genuinely given me some actionable stuff to work on. A lot of it isn't anything new for me, or it isn't stuff that necessarily would work for me. Like, he'll talk about people who have a company or like staff that they need to make decisions for and stuff like that, and that's not really for me, but there's a lot in there that sticks, that's good. I actually wrote one thing down, but I said it later to Ozzy, and he rolled his eyes, because he's really not into like the self-help stuff. You do and you learn, you wait, you stagnate. So that's a kind of a nugget of what kind of thing you get out of that. But for some reason, that particular quote just resonated with me, because I think it's something that I talk about here a lot as well, where people want to get better at art but they're too scared to fail. And yeah, if you do, you could fail, but you also learn. But if you wait, you stagnate and you're not making any progress. So I like it. I'm liking it so far. I hope you can see everything that I'm doing over here. So that's Start Now, Get Perfect Later, which is what I'm currently listening to. I think next I'll try a fiction book. I always get mixed up with fiction and non-fiction, which one's which. I have to say in my head fact and fiction, so I know which one's like the real truth and what's like stories. So I would like to listen to a fiction audiobook next, because I don't think I've done that. Not successfully anyway. And I have a couple, I have like 6 credits I think on my Audible account, just because I dip in and out of listening to audiobooks, and also because I returned a couple. I love Audible. They need to sponsor me. I do love Audible because I was like halfway through one book and I'd had it for months and I wasn't that interested in it anymore, and I returned it and I got my credit back, and now I can get a whole new book. I just think that's amazing. Like, no questions asked. I did that twice at the same time as well. 2 different books that I was like halfway through that just wasn't interested in anymore, and I was able to just return them and get another one. So yeah, if anyone from Audible is watching this, I could be a really great ambassador for you, because I genuinely do love Audible. And so yeah, I've got 2 or 3 fiction books that I want to get into next. What else have I read? Oh, I finished another book, Goodmorning Midnight by Rhys. That was interesting. It's a book about this woman who is just kind of in her lowest time in her life. Her husband has left, she lost a baby, she's alone in Paris, I think, and just trying to get her life back, or telling herself that that's what she's doing. It's a very dark book. It's very disorientating. Like you're very much in her head, and her head's all over the place. But it also feels really real through that. A lot of her anxieties were very relatable, and a lot of the weird, like crazy thoughts that you have when you are in those really low moments. Like it just felt very, very raw and very real. And I enjoyed it, actually. It was very strange at times, quite confusing. I would say if you don't know any French, it might be difficult because, I don't know, there's a lot of French smattered in there and not a lot of it is explained or translated. Like my A-level level French helped at points, but there were words that I didn't know. But you can still get through it. Like you still kind of know what's going on, but at the same time you don't really know what's going on because it's just that kind of book. Where it's like sometimes you're in her memories, sometimes you're in the present moment. But yeah, I really liked it. Goodmorning Midnight by Rhys, who I think did Wide Sargasso Sea, which is another book that I really like. I think Rhys was before her time. In a literary sense, just because she really got that like human emotion and like mental health stuff that I don't think people at that time were open to or interested in. I also read, I mean this is like just an honourable mention, but I read a book that my dad got for my mum for Christmas, which was No More Plastic, by Dory, I think. And it's just kind of what it says. It's just about how much plastic we use day to day and like alternatives and the effect of the plastics that we use. And I didn't really learn anything new from it, but it was a good reminder of how important it is to be changing our habits, at least bit by bit. So I think if you are starting out on a journey of trying to lower your plastic, it would definitely help. It's not too like preachy and condescending. There were times where I maybe would have worded things differently, but its message is very, very good and very helpful, and the delivery is the same. It's very, very easy to digest, and every chapter or every section ends with like a 2-minute actionable step that you can take, even if it's just like looking through your cupboards or looking through your medical cabinet at the things that you've got that have plastic, and just thinking about whether or not you could find an alternative. And he talks about different alternatives that are available as well. So yeah, that was No More Plastic by Dory. And now I am reading a very different book. So after I finished Goodmorning Midnight by Rhys, I needed something a bit lighter and a bit easier, and I certainly have that. It is a book called Deliver Us from Evil by David Baldacci, I think, and it's just a kind of detective-y, agent-y, I think he's an agent. It's part of a series. I think it's the second in a series, and I haven't read the first one, so I don't really know who this guy works for. His name's Shaw. It's very, just one of those like James Bondy type books, but not even James Bondy. It's like more Jack Reacher, maybe. I've never actually read a Jack Reacher book, but I think it gives me that kind of vibe, like this one strong guy who's going here, there, and everywhere around the world to protect people. And what have I done there? Yeah, I don't really know what's going on, because the blurb of the book talks about like him finding this body in a swimming pool and it being the start of this crazy whirlwind, and in the meantime Katie something has been kidnapped, and none of that has happened yet. I'm more than halfway through the book and none of that has happened. So I'm a bit confused as to what I mean, other stuff has happened. A lot has happened. There's a lot of action. It's kind of got, I mean, I don't know, this Shaw guy is like super strong and really clever, and everyone around him says so. Like everyone talks about, like even his enemies and like, or kind of rivals, people maybe that are other agents or working for different organisations, people who you would expect to at least have some jealousy or whatever. Everyone's like, wow, this guy is so amazing, he's so clever, did you see how he fought those people? I've never seen someone so strong. And then on the other end, someone's like, yeah, he's not just strong, he's really fast as well, and he's so tall. So it's a bit like, wow, this guy really, I mean, I don't know, he's a proper like hero, American hero, and it's a fun throwaway, like easy book to read, and I am liking it. The action's all right. It's not badly written, and it's just what I needed, really. So I appreciate it for that. But the same way that Good Morning Midnight might not be everyone's cup of tea for being more like artsy and deep and painful, this might not be people's cup of tea for being so, not even simple, just like, I don't know, easy to read. And not deep. I don't know, it's hard to find the words for it, because I actually am enjoying it. Like, I look forward to reading it every day, and I'm probably just making it sound rubbish, but it's a good book. It's a decent book. Okay, I've watched quite a few things because it was Christmas. I also found out that having the best telly on during Christmas is maybe just a British thing, but it can't be. I don't know, I was watching this channel on YouTube, this Canadian woman that talks about things that are different in the UK and in Canada. Was she Canadian? And in Canada, and she was saying that one thing that really surprised her was how we put our best TV shows and films on at Christmas, like around Christmas and on Christmas Day, whereas where she's from, it's all like repeats and just boring stuff. Like like Christmas Day telly is the peak of telly here. I guess because no one wants to talk to each other. No, I think like at the end of your Christmas meal and things, it's nice to have a sit down with your family and watch a good film. So I watched Elf for the first time. I don't know what's taken me so long. It's my mum's favourite film, I think. Not even just favourite Christmas film, it's her favourite film. Ozzy loves it as well. And yeah, I think it was Christmas Eve I watched it, because I really wasn't like that much in the Christmas mood, but I decided to watch it and I cried all the way through because it was so like wholesome and Christmas. I'm getting teary now. It was just so like hearty and nice, and it just made me feel so happy. I just loved it. It made me laugh, and I just cried like a baby the whole way through. At the end, they start singing Christmas carols, and I was a wreck. So I watched Elf for the first time, and I absolutely loved it, and it got me into the Christmas spirit. And then other Christmas shout-outs, I guess, would be Moana, which I've seen before, Finding Dory, which I've never seen before, and I only really watched half of. Home Alone 2, what else? Zootropolis / Zootopia, I think it's called Zootopia abroad, but it's called Zootropolis here. These are all things I've seen before, by the way, but I just thought I'd mention them. And then for things that I haven't seen before, I watched John Wick 3 the other day with Ozzy. That was pretty cool. We've seen John Wick, well, I've seen John Wick 2. I think he's seen all of them, but we watched John Wick 2 this time last year, on New Year's Day actually, when we were all hanging. We were in Cardiff and we all kind of got up late afternoon, New Year's Day, and gathered in the living room in the house we were staying at and just put on a film, John Wick 2. I'd never seen the first one, so I didn't really know what was going on, but I liked it. I love Keanu Reeves, so anything he's in, I'm pretty happy with. So yeah, the third of any film franchise is never the best one. Just trying to think if there's any exception to that, but yeah, it was okay. It was what you would expect it to be. Lots of fighting. My mum said she tried to watch it a few days ago and she had to turn it off because it was just like one fight after another. But she doesn't know what John Wick is, so I don't think she was expecting it to be like, because it's like assassins basically, assassins like killing assassins at this point. So I don't know, if you like a good fight scene, then I would definitely recommend it, but it's just Keanu. Like, anything he does, I'm happy with. He's such a sweet guy. I also watched Snatch for the first time, which is like your typical British crime comedy caper, I guess. Like proper ensemble cast, kind of Ocean's 11-y, but more East End, more Cockney. It's somewhat of a classic. I say that because it's from like late 90s, early 2000s, but Ozzy's been dying to watch it together for so long because he loves it. So we finally watched it and it was cool. It was good. I liked it. I'm glad that I've seen it. It's got like Jason Statham and what's that guy? Brad Pitt. How could I forget his name? Brad Pitt and I don't know, loads of other people. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like this. I like this a lot. But I think it's coming time to kind of call it a day. I don't know if I'm going to mess with it anymore. Might be something that I come back to. But I kind of need to go out and do some shopping. And I'm starting to ruin it. So I think it'll be best to leave it alone for now, but I'm happy with that. I think that's turned out quite nicely. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me for this. Thanks for taking the pressure off, making it a bit easier to paint and talk at the same time. Just makes it, I don't know, makes it easier, but I'm going to stop rambling now, and I guess I'll see you soon for the next video. Bye.